Why does this always happen to me? You whisper it under your breath after another project falls apart. You say it out loud, angry and tired, after someone you love walks away. And sometimes you don't say it at all, you just feel it. That quiet ache in your chest when life feels like a loop you can't escape. Everyone else seems to move forward. New jobs, new love, new versions of themselves. And you're still here wondering why the same story keeps finding you. You tell yourself, it's not my fault. And maybe you're right. Bad things did happen. People did hurt you. Life has been unfair. But what if the unfairness has become your comfort zone? What if, without realizing it, you've built a prison, one made of invisible walls? And you've been holding the key the entire time? This isn't blame, it's an invitation. Because the truth is, being a victim is something that happens to you. But staying a victim, that's something your mind learns to do. In this video, we're going to slow down together. We'll look at what a victim mentality really is. Not as a label, but as a story your brain keeps repeating to protect you. We'll explore where it begins, why it feels so addictive, and how you can finally walk out of that quiet prison you didn't know you built. So take a breath. Let's begin. There's an important truth we need to begin with, one that so many people get wrong. Being a victim and having a victim mentality are not the same thing. Being a victim is an event. It's something that happens to you. A betrayal, a loss, an injustice you didn't ask for. And when that happens, your pain is real. Your feelings are valid. You didn't deserve it. But a victim mentality is different. It's not an event, it's a lens. It's the filter your mind starts to place over the world after too much pain. It whispers, "Nothing I do will change anything." It convinces you that life is happening to you, never with you, never for you. Asterisk. Here's the difference. Being a victim is standing in the middle of a storm you couldn't stop. Having a victim mentality is still living under the thunder long after the sky has cleared. One is survival, the other becomes a story that traps you. If someone wronged you, that's the truth of what happened. But when your mind keeps replaying, it keeps finding proof that the world is cruel. It quietly builds a belief. I am powerless. I am unlucky. I am broken. This belief isn't weakness. It's protection, a shield your brain built to keep you safe from being hurt again. But that shield, over time, becomes armor so heavy you forget how to move. Before we go deeper into how that armor is forged into the psychology of learned helplessness and the ways our mind mistakes safety for control, take a moment to pause. If this feels like truth you've needed to hear for a while, I'd love for you to stay. Subscribe so you don't miss the next part of this series. Every week, we explore the hidden patterns of the mind, the quiet stories that shape who we become. Because the more you understand your story, the easier it is to write a new one. But why does the mind do this? Why would anyone choose to feel powerless? The answer is, you didn't choose it. Your brain learned it. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. It was first discovered by Martin Seligman in the 1960 seconds. In his experiment, when an animal was exposed to pain it couldn't escape, it eventually stopped trying, even when the door was left open. It wasn't weakness, it was learning. The brain had decided that effort no longer mattered. And that same mechanism exists in us. When you grow up in chaos, when your voice is ignored, or your needs never matter, your brain learns that trying only leads to disappointment. So one day, without realizing it, you stop trying. Maybe you still go to work, pay bills, smile in photos. But somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice whispers, "What's the point?" That's learned helplessness, the belief that no matter what you do, the outcome will always be the same. But there's another layer, something even more subtle. It's how the ego protects itself. Our ego, the story we tell ourselves about who we are, hates pain. It can't stand to feel wrong, rejected, or inadequate. So when something hurts, it quickly looks for an explanation that preserves pride. That's where externalization begins, the art of blame. If I fail an exam, it's because the test was unfair. If my partner leaves, it's because they never appreciated me. If life falls apart, it's because the universe is cruel. It feels good for a while, because blaming keeps the ego safe. It builds a bubble where everything bad is out there, and I remain the innocent one inside. But here's the hidden cost. When everything is someone else's fault, nothing is ever in your control. You give away the steering wheel of your life just to protect your reflection. As a child, helplessness was survival. As an adult, it becomes self-sabotage. And until we understand that, we keep waiting for someone to save us, not realizing that the door has been open all along. So how does this mindset actually show up in daily life? It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, polite, even reasonable. But it's there, shaping how you see everything. Let's look at the 7 hidden signs of a victim mentality. And as you listen, don't judge yourself. Just notice where the words begin to feel familiar. 1. Blaming the ego's favorite game. When something goes wrong, the mind looks for a villain. The traffic made you late. The boss was unfair. The world just hates you. It's comforting, in a strange way, because if it's always someone else's fault, you never have to face the pain of asking, what could I do differently? But every time you blame, you trade growth for temporary relief. You protect your pride, but you lose your power. 2. Rumination, living in replays. You keep telling the same story. How they betrayed you, how unfair it was, how no one understands. Each time you tell it, the pain feels fresh, almost alive. You think you're processing it, but really, you're rehearsing it. Rumination keeps your wounds open, because part of you is afraid that if you stop reliving the hurt, you'll lose the proof that it really mattered. 3. Chronic defensiveness, fragile self. You take feedback as attack. A small comment, maybe try this way, suddenly feels like rejection. Because when your worth is built on being the one who's been wronged, any suggestion that you might be at fault feels unbearable. Defensiveness is the armor you wear to protect a fragile sense of self. But that armor also keeps love and learning out. 4. Catastrophizing, expecting the worst. A single problem becomes a prophecy. A flat tire means the whole day is ruined. A small argument means the relationship is doomed. You start to believe that life isn't just difficult, it's against you. That the universe keeps score and you're always the loser. Catastrophizing feels dramatic, but it's really fear disguised as logic. It's the mind saying, if I expect disaster, maybe I won't be surprised when it comes. 5. Powerlessness, living as a passenger. Listen to your language. I can't. I have to. There's nothing I can do. Those words quietly remove you from the driver's seat. You begin to talk about your own life as if it belongs to someone else. Powerlessness isn't humility. It's the learned belief that action never matters. And when you repeat it long enough, it becomes true. 6. Seeking sympathy, the addictive high. When you tell your story, people comfort you. They say, you've been through so much. And in that moment, you feel seen, connected, loved. But sympathy can become a drug. You start chasing that gentle validation, not realizing it only comes when you're hurting. So, to stay connected, you must stay broken. This is what psychologists call a secondary gain. When pain brings you attention, care, or safety, it's powerful and deeply deceptive. 7. Lack of empathy. When pain becomes the center of the universe. When you live in constant suffering, it's hard to notice anyone else's. A friend shares their struggle, and without meaning to, you reply, "You think that's bad? Let me tell you what happened to me." It's not cruelty. It's exhaustion. Your mind is so full of your own pain that it has no room left for another's. But this is the tragic irony of the victim mindset. It keeps you longing to be understood, while making it almost impossible to truly understand others. Recognizing these signs isn't about shame, it's about awakening. Because once you see the pattern, you can stop mistaking it for your personality. You can start to realize this isn't who you are. It's just a story you learn to tell, to feel safe. And in the next part, we'll go deeper into where that story began and why, for so many of us, it starts long before we ever knew we were writing it. No one wakes up one day and decides to live as a victim. This mindset doesn't come from weakness, it comes from survival. It's a pattern the mind builds when it has been hurt for too long. Let's go quietly into where it begins. 1. Past trauma, when helplessness was the only option. If you grew up in chaos, you learned that control was dangerous. Maybe every time you tried to speak, you were silenced. Maybe love felt unpredictable warm one day, cold the next. As a child, you were powerless. Helplessness wasn't a flaw, it was protection. Your mind decided, if I expect nothing, I can't be hurt again. And that belief, once a shield, quietly followed you into adulthood. 2. Learned behavior, the language of blame. We all learn how to see the world by watching the people who raised us. If you grew up hearing, "Nothing ever works out," or "People always let you down," that story became your first language. You learned that complaining is connection. That helplessness is how you get love. So you carried it, not because you chose to, but because no one ever showed you another way. 3. Covert narcissism, the need to feel special in suffering. Some people escape shame not by being great, but by being deeply wounded. They believe, "My pain is unique. No one has suffered like I have." It's not arrogance, it's loneliness disguised as pride. Pain becomes identity. It's the only way the ego can still feel significant in a world that never seemed to care. 4. Codependency, the dance between victim and rescuer. A victim mentality rarely lives alone. It often finds its partner, the rescuer. One needs to be saved, the other needs to feel needed. And so the dance begins. One stays helpless, the other stays heroic. Both feel loved, neither feels free. 5. Secondary gains, the hidden comfort of pain. Here lies the hardest truth. Pain has perks. You get sympathy, you avoid risk, you never have to face failure. It feels safer to stay small than to try and fall. But that safety is an illusion, a soft, dark cell that locks from the inside. These roots don't make you broken, they make you human. And once you can see them, really see them, you can finally stop living by them. Because understanding where the story began is the first step toward writing a different ending. For a long time, the victim mindset feels safe. It keeps you from trying again. It protects you from disappointment. But what begins as safety soon turns into silence, a quiet kind of suffering that steals your life piece by piece. At first, people understand. They listen, they comfort, they nod. But over time, your stories begin to sound the same. Your friends grow distant. Your partner feels drained. It's not because they don't care, it's because they can't keep carrying the weight you refuse to put down. This mindset slowly erodes connection. You start believing that everyone leaves you, not realizing that it's your pain that keeps pushing them away. At work, it does the same. You stop reflecting, stop growing. When everything is the system's fault, there's no room left for responsibility. And without responsibility, there's no change. Your career stalls, your dreams fade quietly in the background. And then there's the body, the place where all your stories eventually settle. Living in constant defense floods you with stress, anxiety, and exhaustion. You carry years of tension without knowing where it began. It's like living in a burning house, blaming the fire, never realizing you're the one holding the match. The victim mindset promises safety, but it costs you everything that makes life worth living. Love, growth, peace, all traded for the illusion of being blameless. The truth is, the walls you built to protect yourself have slowly become your cage, and the longer you stay inside, the smaller your world becomes. If you've recognized yourself in these words, don't run from it. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness, and awareness is where freedom begins. You can't erase this mindset overnight, but you can unlearn it slowly, patiently, one choice at a time. Here are 5 steps to begin. 1. Awareness, the flashlight in the dark. You can't change what you can't see. So, for the next few days, just notice. When do you feel that familiar thought, "It's not fair"? When do you start blaming or replaying old pain? Write it down, not to judge, but to understand. Awareness is the light you shine into the dark corners of your mind. Once you see the pattern, it can no longer control you in secret. 2. Radical responsibility, taking back the wheel. Responsibility doesn't mean blame. It means ownership. You're not responsible for what happened to you, but you are responsible for what happens next. Try a small experiment. For the next 24 hours, don't blame anything, not traffic, not weather, not people. Instead of, "I'm late because of traffic," say, "I didn't leave early enough for traffic." Notice how the sentence feels different, heavier, but honest. That's the weight of power returning to you. 3. Forgiveness, putting down the stone. You've carried resentment for so long that it feels like part of who you are. But forgiveness isn't saying, "It was okay." It's saying, "It's over." Write a letter to the person who hurt you, or to yourself. Don't send it, just write. At the end, say, "I release you, I release me," and feel the stone fall from your hands. 4. Gratitude, rewiring the brain. The victim mindset trains your mind to see what's missing. Gratitude trains it to see what's still here. Each morning, name 3 small things: the warmth of your coffee mug, the softness of light through the window, the quiet moment before the world wakes. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, it balances it. 5. Action, the only cure for helplessness. You don't heal by thinking differently. You heal by doing differently. Don't fix your whole life. Just take one small, deliberate action. Wash one dish. Send one message. Step outside for 5 minutes. Each act is proof to your brain that effort still matters. These small steps are like hammer taps on the walls of your prison. And one day, without realizing it, you'll find there's a door where a wall used to be. The journey out of a victim mindset isn't a straight path. It's a slow awakening, one moment of awareness at a time. You'll still have days when the old thoughts return, when life feels unfair, when that quiet voice whispers, "Why me?" And that's okay. Because healing isn't about never falling back. It's about recognizing when you do and gently walking yourself home again. The real shift happens when you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" It's not too You can't rewrite the past, but you can choose what it means. You can take the same story that once broke you and turn it into something that builds you. If this helped you see yourself a little clearer, you're not alone. Share one small action you'll take this week in the comments section. Your story might be the light someone else has been waiting for.